What is up, YouTube? Today I thought I'd come to you and talk to you a little bit about banana plugs. There are a lot of different kinds out there with a lot of different features on them, and so I thought I would show you some and give you an idea of which ones I like, why I like them, and what are some of the differences that you can expect from banana plugs. Let's go ahead and start with your most common, which are these monster cable. Now I'm going to show you how to hook these up to a speaker wire as well. These are very simple. These are deadbolt. Monster Cable makes these. Suel makes these. There's a lot of companies that make these, and they literally just twist off. And you unscrew it. There we go. And once you unscrew it, you're just going to slide your speaker wire through like so. And then you're going to flip it over. Now, what they want you to do is spread these out. And that can sometimes be a pain. I'm not going to worry about doing that right now, but they want you to spread it out evenly. And there's a reason for that, because if you don't, these can oxidize, meaning that it gets oxygen still in there, and then, of course, over time, the signal quality degrades. Now, these give a very, very tight fit. These do typically fit in your terminals very well, but I'm not a huge fan of these. They're great for testing purposes when you need to throw something on there really quick just to test it. I don't like them necessarily for longevity. Like I said, it can be a hassle getting these all around here evenly to, concern yourself with oxidation. But the other reason why is if you get really stiff speaker wire, it can be really, really hard to actually get these to go down well. And also, if you trim this back too far, then you'll have a lot left over inside here that can also oxidize. So I'm not a huge fan of these. They're just not my favorite. However, you can get these fairly easily, and you can get them about anywhere. Now, having said that, there's another type that's very similar to these that I do absolutely love, and that's these. Now, Monster Cable sells these. There's a couple other people that sells these. I'm going to leave some links in the description, but these are pretty neat. If you see, it's got a flexible gold tip on the end. And these are actually made to plug into the back of terminal cups that are not banana plugs. So if you ever see the spring wire terminal cups, that's what these actually go into, which is great, especially for testing purposes of speakers that don't have these. Now, these are typically more expensive than some of these. You'll find that are stationary, so they'll be made like this, but they won't bend. I like these ones that bend, and I'll tell you the reason why. When you have this, for example, plugged into your speaker, and you have this screwed down into your speaker, and you want to put it in, if you have it in a stationary position, that means that it has to be at least that far away from the wall, and if you're going to be hanging it on the wall or something, that's going to be problematic. But with this, you can bend it in any direction, kind of put this anywhere you want. If you have an older receiver or stereo receiver that doesn't accept banana plugs, this is another great reason to get these. I like to test it, especially on some less expensive speakers. These are great to be able to hook up quickly to an amplifier, and so I highly recommend these. If you've never used these, these are great. There's going to be two other ones I'm going to go over. These ones I actually got from Parts Express. They no longer sell them. I really like these. There are a couple things I don't like about them. I'm going to explain why. These actually unscrew right here. And that's pretty cool, because basically what happens is you're going to lock in your cable in there. And so if you see, there's a locking screw down in there. And so this will actually lock it in. Now, I do like these that lock in. One thing that you got to remember to do, though, is to slide this on first. So if you notice, I'm going to have to rip my speaker wire a little bit further apart just to be able to get this on and screw it in. Now, one thing you'll find out with these is that these are definitely going to stay wherever you leave them. Some people will even solder the ends of these before they put them in, which would prevent oxidization, so that's a good thing. And that's one of the positives of being able to do something like this. And once you screw it on, it's very, very nice. Now, there's a couple things that I found out about these that I don't necessarily like, which I didn't even think about. The hole here is pretty small. Now, to a certain degree, I really like that, because once you put cable pants on here, it usually just fits right in there and looks really, really good. However, if you ever have a problem with this wire coming out, which you might, I actually had one that came out. Now I might not have tightened it down all the way. When you try to unscrew it, because it's so tight on there, it actually can ruin the cable pants, and you don't want that. So although these are really nice and I do like them, they're not my absolutely favorite. Let me show you my favorites. Now my favorites are these. These are created by a company called Nakamichi. Now these are very light. Like if you were to pick up this, which is the one I just had, this one is extremely heavy versus this. This is very lightweight. You also notice that it has a huge end on here. Now, that's not my favorite thing. I don't love the huge end on there, but some things you have to take. And that's unfortunately one of the compromises I have to make. Now, if you notice, this actually has two set screws. So it has one on the top, and that one sets in your copper. And you have one on the bottom, and that sets in your actual rubber on the speaker wire. So whatever your speaker insulation is. And so if you screw it in, you're going to notice that this gets an extremely tight seal. And so you shouldn't ever have to worry about this leaving. Now, I really like these Nakamachis. They're not the only people that make these, okay? So there's a bunch of people that make these. But I do like these with the two set screws because, I mean, that is not going anywhere. And I don't ever see it going anywhere. Great thing is, too, once we put cable pants on these, you just slide this right over the top. And that is really, really nice for a couple reasons. One, you saw earlier I had to like pull these back further to make sure that this was, you know, going to be able to fit on there, at least this type. This one I don't have to worry about this. This I can do at the end. And believe me, there's a lot of people, and I'm not the only person, that have got these set screwed on and then realize, oh man, I forgot to put this on, and then they have to undo all the work that they did, put this back on, then do that. And so I really like what Nakamichi did as far as putting it on top, and I think that's a really, really nice thing about that. One of the things I did notice about Nakamichi too is these are actually really hard to plug in the binding posts at the beginning. They're just hold a really, really tight seal. So I do really, really like these Nakamachis. So out of all of these, all of them will work. These are great for testing. I don't love them for long term. That's just my own personal opinion. These I think are fantastic for testing and long term for anything with spring terminals. These ones I don't like as much because of the end on the bottom. So keep that in mind. I mean, if you're going to be putting cable pants stuff on it, you're going to want them bigger. And the Nakamichi seem to be my favorite so far. Now, hey guys, if you found some that you like better, let me know in the comment section below because I'd love to hear and see even different banana plugs. There's thousands out there and a bunch that you can try. All right, guys, I hope you learned something in this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, like and share this video. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Thanks, guys.
Counting double-digit thousands.